While the ushers are receiving this morning's tithe and offering, we have a video that we'd like you to watch concerning our last activity with our student ministry.
Hey guys, we just had a great event with our Central students. It was amazing. Was it a rocking jump?
It was rocking jump. We had neon lights, backflips, dodgeball, dunking, anything you can think of.
Hey, at the end of this short video is information for your next event. Can't wait to see you there.
So enjoy.
Guys, we just had a great event.
And can I tell you that trampoline jump park is not for the faint of heart. That place will wear you out. God bless you. It was an awesome event. Thank you so much for being here at our ignition service for second quarter. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That means so much, and I want to thank all the students that have had such a major part in today. You guys, I don't want to start naming names, we'll forget somebody, and all those individuals who take time to allow them to exercise their gift and to do something in the kingdom. And I'd also like to say thank you to Pastor Michael for allowing our students to be active on a Sunday morning. I mean that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so I just want to thank all of you for being here. We couldn't have a service if you didn't show up, so I thank you for being here and supporting all of our students. I want to quickly get into this morning's lesson and talk about God uses little. How many of you know God uses little? God uses little. Now this morning we're going to be talking about faith. So I don't know what you walked into this place dealing with. I don't know what your circumstance may be. I don't know what the doctor said. God knows all that though. And so for the last few weeks, I've really been digging into this subject matter and studying it. And I'll be honest with you, it's really, I told Joy last night, we were sitting there studying together, and I looked at her and I said, if it's for nobody else, it's for me. It's reminded me of some things that I needed to know. And so I want to share this with you. And as we're going through this, I just want you to know that God is here for you. No matter what that situation is, no matter what it may look like, God is here to act on your behalf and do something phenomenal. Okay, I want you to remember that as we're going through this. At the end of the service, we're going to have a time, we're going to be able to come up around the altar and to pray. And I'm just believing today that somebody's going to get a healing in this altar. I'm believing today that somebody's life's going to be changed, that somebody's going to receive salvation, somebody's going to be set free. I'm just believing that something phenomenal is going to take place. So let's go ahead and dig into this real quick. And where I want to start out with is in 1 Kings chapter 17. There's a story that talks about the prophet Elijah. And you may know this story and you may never have heard it before in your life. And so I want to kind of break it down a little bit. And we see here where prophet Elijah had just got through prophesying that it would not rain for another 2 to 3 years. And it would not rain until he spoke again, until God gave him the okay to say, okay, let it rain. And then after he did this, God told him, said, now I need you to go to the wilderness and hide. And we see where Elijah then went to the wilderness, and God instructed him when he got there, said, listen, you're going to be able to drink from the brook, and I'm going to have the ravens to bring you meat and bread every morning and every night. So you'll be able to sustain. Everything will be there that you need to make sure that you survive being in the wilderness. Isn't that like God to make sure that you survive even in the wilderness? He makes sure he's going to provide provisions for you even when it looks like it's the bleakest moment. What a God we serve. So he goes and he does that, and then all of a sudden the river dries up, the brook dries up. So what's the prophet supposed to do now? God comes to him and says, I need you to go to Zarephath. And there's going to be a widow that's going to take care of you. She's going to give you something to drink. She's going to provide for you food. And you're going to be able to sustain until I give you the okay to prophesy to let it rain. So we see where here the prophet Elijah packs up all of his goods and he takes off to Zarephath. And when he gets there, there's a lady who's at the edge of the town and she's gathering a few sticks. So he walks up to her. Here she is. She's got in her hands just a few sticks. And remember, little, few. The Bible says few sticks. So she's getting some few sticks, and there's a reason why she's only getting a few sticks. And we find that out here in just a moment. But Elijah looks at her and says, can I have something to drink? And she says, why, yeah, I'll get you something to drink. So she gets him some water. And then he says, I'd like to have something to eat. Would you make me some bread? And she looks back at him and says, sir, water I can handle, but I don't have but just a little bit of flour in a jar, and all I have is a little bit of oil in a jug. And that's just enough to provide a meal for myself and my son. And after we eat this final meal, we're going to die. What a statement. Here she had was just a little flour, just a little oil, and so she only got a few sticks because she was only making just one small cake so that they could have a final meal. And then she had already placed in her mind, she had already spoke it out there, and then we're going to die. Now, I don't know who I'm speaking to this morning, but it may be the appearance may be that bleak to you this morning, that you only have a little bit of faith left. You've battled so long, you've trudged as hard as you could. It seems like your feet are just stuck in the mud and you're not going anywhere. And to be honest with you, your faith is just weak right now. And you may be saying, you know, I've only got a little bit left and I might as well just throw in the towel and die. I know what that lady's feeling like. There may be somebody sitting here this morning saying that. I know what she feels like. I've only got enough left for one more meal, one more church service, and I'm done with this church thing. One more prayer, and I'm done with it, man. You know, it don't seem like God's ever moving on my behalf. Man, I'm done. Throw in the towel, eat my last meal, and just give up and go do something else. And there may be somebody sitting here this morning, but I want to tell you that just as that lady was dealing with that, and she had already put in her mind that she was going to die, make one last meal, as Elijah looked over at her, even though she'd already made that statement, and said, whoa, stop. It's not over for you yet. And I want to tell somebody this morning, it's not over for you yet. The rest of the story hasn't been told. It's not over for you yet. And the prophet looked at her and said, now, here's what I want you to do. First of all, I need you to change the way you're talking. And I need you to change the way you're thinking. I need you to go fix me something to eat. Prophet done lost his mind. He telling me quit thinking the way I'm thinking, quit talking the way I'm thinking, and talking, and go make him some bread? Who's he think he is? Didn't I just tell him I only got a little bit left and I'm going to die? I mean, think about it. How would you feel if somebody shows up at your house and says, I'm hungry and I'm thirsty and I need you to make me something to eat? And you look at them and say, all I got left is just a little, just enough for me and my family, and then I'm going to die. You don't. Let's be realistic. How many of us would go fleshly really quick? You get lost and go to the next house, chump. Go get a job, get your own stuff. I'm about to die myself. I mean, let's think about it. So can you imagine what was going through this little widow's mind as the prophet just instructed her, give me something to eat. Y'all watch me eat and make me some food. Well, the rest of the story of that is, he said, and after you make me the food, I don't want you to fear. I don't want you to fret. I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to go into a DTs and become depressed. No. Guess what? As long as you feed me first, God said you do what he commands you to do, and that he's going to make sure that your oil and your flour never runs out. He said, I'll make sure that your oil and your flour is there until I have to go and prophesy that let it rain again. So every morning from that point on, since she did what God instructed through the prophet, the Bible tells us that she had just enough oil and just enough flour to get through another day. And then she would get up the next morning and she had just enough oil and just enough flour to get through another day. And then she would get up there, and you know where I'm going with the rest of the story. For 3 years, she had just enough oil and just enough flour of what she thought was very little. So some of you sitting here this morning, what you see as little, God says, oh my Lord, that's my playground. I'm getting ready to have some fun. I'm going to multiply this, and I'm going to use it in ways that you never imagined and you never thought possible. He said, all I want you to do is just to trust me. Remember, he told her, fear not. Be of good courage. Fear not. It's going to be all right. And God's wanting someone to know that this morning. Fear not. It's going to be okay. So as we begin to dig into this just a little bit, I want us to understand what little really means, other than what you see in front of you right here. Little is in short duration. In other words, there's not a lot there that's going very far. You may also say that it's not extensive, that it's small in number, that it's small in amount, that it's small in size, small in degree. There's just simply not much there. Little, just not a lot there. John Wooden, the famous basketball coach, said it like this: it's the little details that are vital. It's the little things that matter. Because from those little things, the big things happen. Somebody just grab a hold of that. From the little things, big things are getting ready to happen. Another unknown author said it like this: your character is ultimately determined by the smaller choices you make each day. In other words, the way you handle the small things in your life every day, the way she handled the small amount of oil and the small flour that she had in her possession every day determined what her success was going to be. It goes a little further and says, little things set you up for success. Little things set you up for success. Now you may be saying, okay, little. How important is little? Little is very important. Look at your neighbor and say, little is important. I'm going to give you a couple examples of how important little really is. In 1986, and some of you may remember this, and some of you may be too young. I remember where I was sitting in the middle school there when this happened. There was a space shuttle called Challenger. This Challenger blew up. The accident was caused by an O-ring failure that allowed fumes to interact with the rocket booster, causing the shuttle to blow up. Right here, and you can see this is the rocket booster on the right, the white rocket's there, and in the middle is the fuel cell, and of course the ship is there at the top. I actually had a chance to see these this past summer, not particular that space shuttle because it no longer exists, but I did see another one there at Kennedy Space Center, and it is amazing how big that orange thing is. It's huge. And how big those rockets are. And that ship has got so many intricate details to it, so many wires. And when you get up underneath it and you see it and you walk around it, and there's so many parts and pieces that make that thing fly. But there was one little small thing that destroyed it. It was a little O-ring. And what ended up happening that day is this spaceship was taking off. It was 20 degrees colder than any other launch that had ever been launched. And the company that created this whole O-ring situation and the way to keep it together, see, it keeps the four sections of the rocket boosters from leaking fuel or heat, which would then ignite and cause a rupture in the fuel cell tank of the liquid oxygen and the hydrogen that was there to make it propel it to get it to space. And they were so sure that the O-rings would hold up. There was already talk about these little O-rings. They said, now it's 20 degrees colder. It's been sitting on the launch pad all night long. It was below freezing. These O-rings, are they going to give when it takes off and all the rumbling starts? Is it going to seal up and not let anything out? And the company said, yes, it will. There's no problem with it. We stand behind it. And they were pretty emphatic about their statements that nothing would happen. And we see that they said, okay, we're going to launch. And they launched, and this is what happened. Because of a little O-ring, there was an explosion. If I could get that picture, please. This is what happened. Something little triggered a big explosion. It just so happened that this little O-ring, triggered something that was negative in an explosion. But can I tell you, sitting here this morning, that what we possess as a body may appear to be little in our own eyes. It may appear to be little in the environment in which we live, in our particular situations. But can I tell you that God's wanting to use what we possess that may appear to be little to cause a massive explosion for the good? Can I tell you that God's wanting to use what you possess and what's in your means right now to turn your family around? God's wanting to use you to be able to speak life where there's death. He's wanting to be able to use you to change the environment that you walk into every day. There's another example that's found in the Bible, and it comes from the Song of Solomon. It simply says this: catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that ruin the vineyards. Our vineyards that are in bloom, those little foxes eat the grapes, but also through their play, they destroy the root system. And you take a look at what this little fox looks like. It's a baby fox. When Sammy and myself and Sandra were over here yesterday making sure the screens were all ready to roll, Sammy, as soon as she seen that, she goes, oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. But that thing that looks so cute, it's a little bitty fox. That's a baby. He's destroying vineyards, it says here in the Song of Solomon. It says, you got to catch them rascals because they're tearing up all the good stuff. Even the stuff that's in bloom, it's destroying it. So we can see how small things can create negative or can create positive. All right? So as we go a little bit further, we've got to understand that even though something may appear to be little, many times it has the power. It's the springboard, if you will. It's the spark plug that causes something big to happen on our behalf, even though it may be little. Your size, you've got to think about this. Your size, your knowledge, your ability, your level of faith, if you will, does not determine your usefulness to God and what He has called you to be or to do in the kingdom. You've got to understand that the way you view yourself does not change His ultimate plan if you allow Him to take control. Even though you see yourself as being maybe small in faith this morning. Again, as I said a while ago, maybe you're sitting here and you're just tired. You're ready to throw in the towel. You've had enough. I'm ready to give up. Or maybe you're sitting here and you're helping someone who's going through this and is just tired and is battle fatigue. And that man are like, yeah, whatever. But you've got to understand this morning that the way we see it is not the way God sees it. The way He thinks about it is not necessarily the way we think about it. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. And so what we see is there's no way out. God's saying, oh boy, wait until I get done with this. Say the doctor said what? Oh boy. Say the family's falling apart. Oh boy. Say the finances, you don't have enough to pay the next bill. Oh goody. Now you may be saying to yourself, Pastor David, you're saying goody about all them bad things. No, I'm saying that God is telling us if we'll activate our faith, then He's getting ready to turn around what was meant to destroy you. He's getting ready to turn that thing around, and it's going to be a blessing unto you. That you thought was going to destroy you may just be getting ready to propel you into what God's called you to be, and He's developing your character while you're there. He was developing the faith in this little widow woman when He was seeing if she was going to give up the oil and the flour. And then she ended up getting blessed, not only for what she was doing, but her son. And if the son and the mama hadn't got blessed, then there wouldn't have been generations to come. God's wanting to use what you're doing to affect those that are coming behind you or that are currently around you. You may say, little faith. Well, I got something to say about little faith this morning. Jesus told the people in Matthew chapter 17, verse 20, it says like this, and I'm reading from the Holman Coleman Study Bible, so I think she's going to put up the NLT, but it says, I assure you, if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you will tell this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible unto you. If you have the faith of the size of a mustard seed. I want to show you what a mustard seed looks like real quick on the end of the finger. This right over there's what several mustard seeds look like, and there's what one mustard seed looks like. God was saying here, if you have the faith as the size of a mustard seed, if you'll have this much faith and believe in me, if you'll have this much faith in yourself and understand that I'm getting ready to work on your behalf, He says you'll have the power, you'll have the authority to speak to your mountain and tell it to move from here to there. But He said, you've got to understand, first of all, what you possess. He said, I have given every one of you a measure of faith. I've given every one of you something the equivalent of this. I've given every one of you a seed. But all I need you to do is activate the seed. You got to believe in what I'm able to do. And He said, and when you do that, then you can speak to the mountain. How many of you got mountains in here this morning that you'd like to speak to? Oh, dear Heavenly Father, if I could put up both feet, I'd do it. We all got mountains. We all got situations. But can I tell you here this morning that your God is in this place desiring to move your mountain for you? I'm not just telling you to make you feel good. I'm not just getting up here to preach a sermon. I told Joy a while ago, sitting over in the corner, I said, Joy, I just want to see something awesome happen. I just want to see the miraculous take place. I want to see lives changed. I want to see reports of healing. I want to see God do something phenomenal. I want to see it. I want to see it. So I'm not telling this story this morning just so we'll get excited and leave here. And then all of a sudden the little foxes come in and rob the seed that's being planted. I'm not telling us this morning so that while we're in the midst of this place this morning that we feel good that yes, God is going to take care of it. Oh my Lord. No, where faith comes in is when we're out there by ourselves. Faith is activated when you're sitting there in the car and you just got a bad report and you're trying to figure out what to do. And what do? You give in and say, I've only got a little, I'm ready to die? Or do you say, no, 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 no. My God is still able. My God is still on the throne. My God is still in control. He created all that was created. He said he'd make a way where there seemed to be no way. He'd open a door where there seemed to be no door. That he would be the lily of my valley, my bright and my morning star. He would be the healer that heals my body. He is that God, and by his stripes I am healed. Thus saith the Lord, not what thus saith man. It's the way we react is what's going to determine the outcome that we receive. God said, activate the faith. Activate that little seed that I have given you. I've placed it inside of you. You have the goods. There's power of life in the tongue this morning. I dare you to speak to somebody and say, I got the faith to see it happen. Now look at somebody else and say, I got the faith to see it happen. No, you don't. No, you don't. God ain't going to save your family. God ain't going to provide for you what needs to be provided. God's not going to make a way where there seems to be no way. God's not going to do it. The story that you've got so far, that's all you're going to get. There's no more to come. James, you'll never be anything else. You'll never account to a thing. No, you won't. You ain't going to be nothing. Tammy, your ministry will never go. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Pastor, you'll never see the people stopped on the side of the street. You'll never see it. You'll never see it. You'll never be healed. You'll never be saved. Excuse me, what'd you say? What did you say? Oh my God, while I hear it, I start feeling mountains as they're starting to shake. Woo! Oh my God. And all of a sudden we start combating. Oh, my. The Bible says that you'll do greater things than what Jesus did. Oh my God, and look at all the things he did. He spoke to the blinded eyes. He raised the dead from the Oshataya. He healed those that were maimed. He spoke life where there was no life. He set the addict free. And God said, if you'll activate that little bitty mustard seed, you'll do more. Woo! Hey, Masedebo Shataya. See, the interesting thing about this mustard seed is though it's one of the smallest round seeds on the planet. When it's planted, it's one of the fastest seeds to germinate. In other words, you can plant it today and it's growing by tomorrow. Oh my God. Oh my. What God's trying to tell somebody is if you'll just trust me right now, quit giving me excuses about when it's going to happen, and it's got to be just right, and the temperature's just got to be right, and the right speaker's got to be preaching, and the right song's got to be sung, and the right situation's got to be happening in the church house. God said, forget all of that. God said, your help does not come from man, it comes from me. Your help does not come from science, it comes from me. Your help does not come from mama and daddy, it comes from me. Your help does not come from the preacher, it comes from me. God said, trust me, unleash me on your behalf, and watch what happens. He said, trust me, and see that I will not pour out a blessing that you're not able to contain. He said, just surrender it all to me. Yes, it may look like you only have a little flour and a little oil, and that's all you possess right now on your behalf. But God said, if you'll trust me with all that you have, this widow gave everything she had. And God said, because of your obedience, because you took care of me first, because you sought the kingdom of God first, he said, I will open up the windows. I will take care of you, and everything else that you need, he said, if you seek me first, will be supplied. Everything else. What's crazy about a mustard seed, as I said, it begins to grow immediately. It's one of the only seeds that do that, just instantly, and you can see growth within 24 hours. God's saying, somebody challenge me today and see what's going to happen tomorrow. Oh, Sele Messiah. Hey, and you may be saying, but what if it don't happen? But what if it does? Oh my God. But if I get up in the morning, I still feel the same way. What do I do then, Pastor? Do I just quit? No. You wait for the next morning and get up and try it again. But Pastor, that seems like that'd be just crazy. He said, it's not by your might. It's not by your ability. It's not by what you possess. He said, but it's by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Quit worrying about what you have. Quit worrying about what you possess. God said, unleash me in the midst of where you are. Allow me to walk into the midst of your situation. Because when I step on the scene, the devils have got to flee. Oh, the enemy may come in one day, but God said, I'll send him back 7 more. Go. My God, Hoshaya. Woo. Yeah. God's saying, activate that seed. Put it in the ground. Can I tell you that where you put that seed this morning is going to determine the outcome. It's going to determine the growth and the potential that God's getting ready to unleash on your behalf. You planted in bad soil, you got a bad harvest. You planted in good soil, you got a good harvest. So where are you saying that I need to plant it? I'm saying you need to plant it in the word of the Lord. Because his word will not go out and come back to him void. And inside of this word, there is life. Inside of this word, there is strength. Inside of this word, it gives you the ability to be able to speak to your mountain and to tell it to be moved. You'll never move a mountain on your own. You don't have the ability. It's the Spirit that's inside of you that allows you to speak to cancer and it has to dry up. It's the Spirit inside of you that allows you to speak to the finances and say, open up your hands. It's mine that God has blessed me with. It's the Spirit of God that opens up the windows of heaven. Good seed, planted in good ground, is going to come back and give you a good harvest. But so many times we plant that seed in our friends. We plant that seed in science and what it can do for us. And I get it. I understand it. If there's one thing I understand, it's planting a seed in science. I did it some 8.5, 9 years ago when the doctors looked at me and said, you've got MS. I said, Why do you bring that up, Dave? I've heard you say it before because I keep reminding myself that God's in control. I keep reminding myself that it's in him that I move. It's in him that I breathe. It's in him that I have my being. It's not in what a doctor said. It's not in the medication, but it's in his word. You speak that boldly. That's the only thing I've got to lean on. The only thing this widow had to lean on every day of her life was that prophet didn't lie to her. That it would always be there. That there would always be just enough flour. And there would always be just enough oil to get her through that day. The Bible said, take no thought for tomorrow. Take no thought for tomorrow. Give me enough to get through this day, God. And tomorrow, I'll leave it in your hands. But God, get me through now. And I know it was like my legs got knocked out from under me. And I began to panic and I went into a state of depression. And I started, oh my God, I've been in this all my life. Oh dear Lord, what next? Oh dear Lord. And I started getting weak-kneed. And one day I was sitting over here at the church. And man, I was praying, but to be honest with you, I wasn't believing. I was quoting the scriptures, but I wasn't believing them. All I could think about was what that man in the white coat just told me a few weeks before. And I sat there and I told him, I said, give me the medicine now. Give me the medicine now. Give me the shot now. He said, son, one shot now ain't gonna make a difference. Let's go ahead and finish the test. I said, I want a shot now. He said, it don't matter. It'll be about 3 or 4 months before we get to that point. Whatever you say, give me the shot now. Where'd you go, Pastor Dave? I went to leaning on man. I went to putting faith in science. I went to putting faith in relationships. I went to putting faith in family. If I can get the right person to pray for me, if I get the right person to lay their hands on me, if I just get to the altar and get the right person, sister so-and-so or brother so-and-so, if I could just get pastor so-and-so, God, just lay it on their heart and let them call me from wherever they're at in the world. Oh, if they'll speak to me. And God said, I've already put it inside of you. He said, I've given every one of you a measure of faith. He said, He said, I've given every one of you from this corner to that corner. Everybody sitting underneath the sound of my voice, God has already given you a measure of faith. He just wants you to activate it. And yes, it may be small right now. And yes, you may be tired. And yes, it may look like it's insurmountable. And the mountain looks far bigger than what you can climb. But God said, activate that little bitty seed and watch what's going to happen. And you say, if it don't happen, so what? God's on trial, not you. He said, trust in me. I have the final authority. I have the final say so. So we've got to get to the point where we stop planting our seed in friends and science, relationships and family and social media and every other speaker in the world. He said, seek me first, not seek mama first. Seek me first, not the seek me first and my kingdom, and I will take care of everything else. Can I tell you here this morning, if this relationship is right, then this relationship will work according to God's will. But if this relationship is not right, this relationship, I don't care how hard you try, will never work out. It will always lead to a dead end. It will always lead to destruction. It will always lead to pain. It will always lead to heartache. But God said, trust me, trust me, trust me. He told the children of Israel, if you trust me, I'll give you the land. If you trust me, you'll defeat all the inhabitants of the land. If you trust me. This means even how we see ourselves. See, one of the biggest problems that we have is how we see ourselves, how we see our own abilities. We view so many other people that they're going to be able to get blessed, but God ain't going to do that for me. God's going to make a way for Pastor Michael because he's the pastor. God's going to make a way for Sister Tammy or Sister Maddie. My God, they're powerful prayers. God ain't going to do nothing for me. And here we go destroying the seed before it's ever put in the ground because we begin to doubt. He said, I'm going to do these things for you if you doubt not. And I'm sitting here this morning and I'm not telling you this is easy. We all got our stories. We all got our struggles. We all got our issues, but I have to hold on to the scriptures because the world we live in is going crazy. The world we live in is going mad. People trying to destroy people. It's trying to sow discord and hate and anger. The world has gone crazy. There's no peace in it. But God said, I'll give you a peace that surpasses all your understanding and all of your knowledge. I'll give you a peace that you can't find on this planet anywhere. But you're going to have to trust me and understand that I can. He that believeth that I am. And it is, he that believeth that I am. He said, I will reward that individual. That's a promise. And if we believe in him enough, Pastor, that he can save us from a hell, why is it that we limit ourselves? And I'm preaching to me. As I told you, I have eaten this for 2 weeks. I've got mad at myself. I sit in Starbucks and tapped the table and said, David, there it is. There it is. Why do you not stand upon it? Why do you not see it happening? Why? I sit there and I've questioned myself, Pastor Kelly. My mom's sitting back there who's on her 3rd bout with cancer. She has an inoperable tumor right in her neck. And then she just found out we got a tumor in the back, or some kind of knot in the back of her head. And I'm sitting there and I questioned God. I asked why. I prayed. I'm being real with you this morning. I have prayed why. And the enemy creeps in and he says, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. And I have to keep forcing myself, Pastor, to go back to the scriptures saying, I am the God that healeth your disease. And I have to keep going back to the scriptures that say, greater works, greater things will you do than I did. Greater works and greater things will you see than what I performed. And then I sit there and I have to remind myself, as I said just a moment ago, David Brown, it's not by your abilities. It's not by your might. It's not by your strength, but it's by his spirit that these things are going to happen. And he says, what I will happen. So if it's willed that she's healed, or if it's willed she goes to heaven early, he said, don't you start doubting me now. Don't you start giving up on me now. I took you from where you were to where you are now. And yes, there'll be roadblocks. And yes, there'll be potholes. And yes, there'll be speed bumps. But I change not. I stood at the beginning and I declared the end, and I changed not. But that's hard for me to swallow, Pastor. It's his will. I have to do my part, which is believe, Tammy, and plant the seed of a mustard. And what God does with it, that's what he chooses to do with it. But who am I to take control of what he has the authority to perform? That's not faith. Faith is believing in what you can't see. Faith is believing and trusting that your God is in control. And that when you step where there's nothing, that he'll provide a landing place. That you control, you do not have faith in. You believe in it, but there's not faith. Faith is activating those things that are not and speaking them into existence as if they were. That's faith. Kata Mosiah. So this morning, God's telling somebody in this place, do not be afraid. I've got you. He said, I got the deep places of this earth in the palm of my hand. And this planet is my footstool. And you can't go where I can't find you. You can't hurt in a way that I can't mend you. You can't get lost enough that I can't get you back to your original calling. He said, you can't make enough mistakes for me to cast you aside. He said, but I'm looking for somebody who knows without God, I'll never make it to the end. He's looking for somebody this morning that'll say, you know what, this atmosphere is right in this church for the miraculous to take place. And there's enough power flowing in this place right now from seat to seat, from the front to the back, that I'm just crazy enough to believe that blinded eyes can be open, that the lame can walk, that the deaf ear can hear, that the dumb can talk, that the cancer can be removed, that the EMS can be cast asunder, that the blood pressure can be brought into where it's supposed to be, that the diabetes can be regulated, that the finances can be put out to where they need to be, that a marriage can be mended, that a kid can be saved, that an addict can be delivered, that a household can be made whole. I'm just crazy enough to believe our God is still alive. He is not dead. Our God is not dead. As the prayer counselors come, and everybody stands. Hey, Marcela Mohosataya. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Let healing flow through this place right now, God. Let your anointing rest in this house. Let every mind be made clear. Let freedom be given. Let salvation be extended. Woo! Hey, I didn't quote you this morning the gospel according to David. I quoted you the word of the same God that said, I'll save you from a devil's hell. If we can believe that, please do not shut down the rest of this book. I had a man one time tell me, yes, he can save me, but healing was for when he walked the earth. Nay. Healing is for whosoever asks and believeth. And believeth. Healing is for whoever asks and plant that little seed. Well, you don't know how little my faith is right now. God said, show me the seed. Show me the seed, Tim. And God said, all you got to have is this. All you got to have is that little bitty seed, that little grain of a mustard seed. And he said, I will do the rest. He said, I just need you to put the ball in motion. And he said, step out of the way and watch me take it to the goal line. Step out of the way. Just put it in action. Whatever little faith you got left, just let it go. We can live in the what ifs for the rest of our life, saints. What if he don't answer? What if I've been too bad and he doesn't love me anymore? What if my situation's so small he just don't even see it on his radar? What if it's too big? We can what if ourselves right out of a blessing. We can what if ourselves right out of a miraculous. We can what if ourselves right away from planting the seed. And you know what? If it don't happen, God's still in control. The three Hebrew boys, they said, you know what, our God's able to deliver us from this fiery furnace. But if he don't, he's still God. Woo! If he don't, he's still God, but I'm still not bowing to the circumstance. I'm still not bowing to the fiery furnace. David said it like this. He said, is there not a cause to go and face the giant? There's so many other stories. But this morning the altar's open. The altar is open for whosoever will just dare to plant a seed. Will just dare to say, hey, God. See, God already knows what you're dealing with before you even take the step. He just wants to know where you're going to step. He already knows, church. He just wants to know when you step to trust him. He caught He labosata. Ooh, katalabosata.
A little bit of faith, the size of a mustard seed. Can you show me the tree? One little thing, planted, grows 20 feet high, up to 35 feet high, 20-something foot in circumference. One little seed, one moment of faith. I want somebody's place right now to bring your moment of faith right now. It's just a little bit. That's okay. Bring it. I'm seeing right now people that have been sick about to be healed. I'm seeing right now deliverances about to take place, already happening. Bring what you have right now. We'll meet you at that point of faith and believe for the miraculous to happen in your life at this moment. Come on. We'll meet you here.